Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Shadowrun Dragonfall Director's Cut. In the previous episode, we started going around the Kreuz Bazaar, taking care of some business for Altug, while also meeting up with the residents of this place. And at the end of the last episode, I actually ended up missing the data tap that is just outside the triage clinic. Of course, I also had to restart my computer because for whatever reason the game got stuck in a crash mode that I could not take it out of. That, even when I did manage to finally get out of it by attempting to force a log off, I couldn't start the game again for whatever reason. Anyways, let's take care of this phone booth while we're here. It's an old obsolete phone booth. It's ringing. Honestly, I'm surprised there's any phone booths left in this future. Monotone pitch, adjusted voice begins speaking almost immediately. The shock and well in reader's contact for this Chiez is no more. Talia is listed as a follow-up contact. This is our only secure line to this Chiez. Please listen to the following instructions carefully if you are a supporter of our cause. We have phone booths in strategic locations throughout the city. Within each one you may find a request posted for specific information. If you obtain a copy of this information, return here and submit it via the port below the receiver. We will verify the authenticity of the information remotely and post an undoctored copy of it onto the Matrix ourselves. It is our stated goal for this information to remain free to all. However, you will be compensated for sought-after information returned to this location. Line goes silent. Okay then. Anyways, let's take care of this last data tap. Let's see. As you are resetting the data tap, you notice someone has duct taped a small homemade receiver to the system. An earplug dangles from the receiver. Well, let's put the earplug in our ear. The sound of heavy machinery makes it difficult to hear the words that are being spoken. After a moment, you find you can make out two distinct voices. A nasal woman who sounds like a heavy smoker and a man who speaks in a high-pitched, breathy tone. Just heard Monica. Need to verify. Good for us. Continue listening. Sound like a conveyor belt starting adds to the noise of the machinery. You can't make out anything else until it stops a minute later. Think our next step? Wait. Isn't ready to make a move yet. To be patient. See who steps up. Could be someone more. More conveyor belts start up and all you can hear is the sound of machinery. Some sort of motorized vehicle starts up, drowning out everything else. Bell rings loudly again and again. It sounds like a telephone. You hear the sound of a door slamming shut and the noise of machinery is suddenly muffled. There's a rattle of plastic and the ringing stops. Guten Tag, how may I help you? The tone changes. I heard. Yes, he knows. I told him it wasn't time to make a move yet. What do you think I am, an idiot? Council needs to meet again. I know, getting everyone in the same room is challenging. Getting them to agree on a course of action is going to be even more challenging. From my perspective, the Kreuz Bazaar was only stable because of her. If she really is out of the way, well, we'll see, won't we? Yeah, I know. What can I say? Things go slow in the flux sometimes. You hear the sound of a door opening again, and the cacophony of machinery fills the line. You can't make out anything more. Interesting. Well, let's move on. We still got a couple more people to talk to before we can head back to Altug. Lane, for starters. I know you? If you know let's see. I've been remarkably inconsistent with these. Before you stands a troll, though it is a stretch to say he is standing at all. His great mass is barely held upright by two vintage prosthetic legs, along with a crutch under one arm. His body clicks and hums with every shift of his weight. Despite these disabilities, his eyes are sharp and calculating. I know you? Well, if you know Monica. Sure I know Monica. You one of hers, then? I'm Talia, by the way. Good to meet you, Talia. Name's Alexei Lane. What's your place in the Kreuz Bazaar? No place really, just an old relic rusting away. There's something you should know about Monica. Something happened to her on the run. I'm afraid so. There have already been whispers. I had a feeling. Besides, Monica almost always comes around after the run to check on everybody. She's long overdue, and now here you are in her place. So, she's either severely wounded or outright dead. Which is it? I'm afraid she's gone. The grizzled troll nods grimly. The servos in his prosthetics complain as he lets loose a heavy sigh. Oh, that is a shame. She was a hell of a runner, that one. And a good friend. I'll leave you be. Donations for the soup kitchen have slowed, Samuel. I'm not surprised. Altruism often comes with an expiration date. At the sound of your approach, the orc turns to face you. He wears a severe expression, but there is kindness in his eyes. Guten Tag, Elf. Can I help you with something? I couldn't help but overhear your conversation. I take it you run a charity of some sort? He nods. Yes, it isn't much, but we do what we can. Such as? Give me specifics. He clears his throat and then begins to count off his fingers. In the past several years, I have established a shelter where the disposed can sleep, a soup kitchen to feed the hungry, and a library for the people of the Kreuzbazar to better themselves. It isn't much, I admit, but it's a start. A good start, Samuel. You mustn't be so hard on yourself. There are limits to what one man, even a determined man, can accomplish. This is true, he nods to the orc at his side. Thankfully, some of the residents that I've helped over the years have come back around to help me. I've got 15 assorted orcs and trolls from all around the Kreuzbazar working with me now. They help me man the soup lines, stock the library shelves, and to do all of the hundreds of other little things that that community organization needs done every day. These extraordinary individuals are living proof that what we do here has value. They are my inspiration to continue forward. She beams at the compliment. From her body language, it's clear that she idolizes Beckenbauer. Now, do you have any more questions? If not, I will bid you good day. I don't wish to sound self-important or rude, but there are many pressing matters that demand my time. 15 assorted orcs and trolls. Does that mean that other races aren't welcome within your organization? Well, that's taking a rather narrow view of what we do. Yes, it is true that my assistants are all members of the goblinoid races. It is also true that before they accepted my help, they were thieves, gangbangers, and deadbeats. This is not because they were bad people, this is because those of us of the goblinoid traits are feared, mistreated, and denied gainful employment by a society that hates us. I hire only goblinoids because mainstream human society has created a need for me to hire only goblinoids. The orcs and trolls of the Kreuzbazar deserve a workplace where they will be treated with dignity and respect. All that being said, our services are available to all. We wouldn't turn a desperate person away, regardless of that person's metatype. Even humans, the most privileged of all races, are welcome at the door. Isn't that what's most important? Your use of exclusionary language is telling. Even humans are allowed. Please, mein Freundin, he shakes his head. Don't make this into something it isn't. Who the hell are you to question Samuel? What have you done for the Kreuzbazar? No, there are more important things to argue about than this, he nods to you. I'm sure your heart is in the right place. Now please. Friend, there are many tasks that demand my attention. Is there something more that you need, or shall I bid you farewell? Now, the guide does state that there are special things with Samuel involving whether or not you're an orc/troll or an elf. Didn't really see that. I'd like to talk about your organization. Are you accepting donations? Yes, of course. We're actually desperate for them, truth be told. People seem more intent on taking care of themselves than they are in providing for the less fortunate. Of course, these concepts are not unrelated. As poverty rates increase, so does the crime rate. Assisting the needy increases the quality of life for all. In any event, our shelter has some basic needs that desperately need to be filled. The walls of the shelter are not insulated, and new blankets will go a long way towards keeping our guests healthy and comfortable. Ideally, we'd like to purchase some space heaters as well. With 250 nuyen, we can make the purchase. Whatever you could spare would be most appreciated. Despite there seeming to be some sort of in this, it is a good thing that he's doing helping others. Here, just take what you need. I've got you covered. This is incredibly generous. Thank you, mein Freundin. No big deal, Sam. Do good with it. I feel like there's nothing wrong going on here. It's just he worded it improperly. Happens to many people. No big deal, Sam. Do good with it. Thank you. With this donation, we have reached our first goal. Thank you so much for your kind assistance. I will put your contributions to work. stocking the shelter with blankets and heaters. Not a problem. Please, do not downplay your contribution. You have shown kindness at a time when few others will. That means something. It means a great deal. Let's talk about something else. No questions, I'm just passing by. Alright, with that, we have talked to everybody in the Croix Bazaar, so... let us head back to the cafe. Funny, of the two things in that sentence, I mispronounced the one thing that I shouldn't have. Man behind the counter. Welcome, honored Effendim. Welcome, and how can Burak Ghazi serve you today? Would you like a cup of coffee, perhaps? I finished with your little trifle, Herr Burak Ghazi. Ah, very good. I assume you had no difficulties? Difficulties? No. One of the taps had been modified a bit, though. Someone was using it as a surveillance device. Of course they were. I would be surprised if they weren't. This is Berlin, after all. In the flux, everyone spies. If you do not spy, how will you know who is in power and who will be in power next? If you are to stay here, Effendim, you must get used to it. Who enters the Turkish bath will sweat, as my uncle Taydemir always says. Nevertheless, I shall have one of my people look into it. Wait, there's something more. I listened in on the tap and heard something. It might be important. Oh-ho, tell me, O listener at Keyholes, what did you hear on this surveillance tap you found? I couldn't make out much. A nasal woman and a high-pitched man. They seemed pleased Monica was out of the picture. The Turk's face falls. News travels fast in Berlin. These two are known to me. Is there more? The woman got a call. She talked about a council meeting tonight to decide if they should make a move. Then she was drowned out by heavy machinery. He nods grimly. Most excellent. It is indeed fortuitous that you discovered this information, though it is not unexpected. I will have one of my people attend this council meeting and report back. Sounds good. Keep me in the loop. With that out of the way, let us return to our pressing business. He barks at a stream of rapid-fire Turkish, and the gum-chewing young woman comes hurrying out to the counter. The menu for Herr Amsel, uncle. Kami hands you a folded piece of paper. Inside is a memory stick. Please, extend my consolations to him. The death of Fraulein Schaefer must have hit him hard. Burak Ghazi gives Kami a small nod, and then hurries out of the room. When she is gone, he returns his attention to you. Please express my condolences as well. I only just heard the news. Monica was an important part of this community. He frowns. Few know how important. The memory stick Kami just handed you should contain all the information Herr Amsel requires from our chef in the field. Should you require my services in the future, you know where to find me. Until then, good day. I'm hoping in the future getting through all these conversations isn't going to take 2 episodes. Well, an episode and a half. That is the problem with this game. There is a lot of talking, which tends to be the problem with a lot of RPGs. Alright, well, nothing else to do. So let's go talk to Paul. Did you get the information about Green Winters? Yes, I spoke to Altug. He gave me this memory stick. Let us see what his agent has to say. Amsel snatches the memory stick from your hand and slots it into his computer terminal. He navigates a series of command line menus and a wall of amber text floods the screen. Amsel scans it, mouthing the words as his eyes flit back and forth. Burak Ghazi's agent tailed Green Winters to a hotel in the cesspool of a Kiez called Drogen Kip. The hotel is called Das Kesselhaus. It is a renovated factory nestled deep in the heart of Drogen Kip. It appears that Winters is holed up there. Recently, there was some contention between 2 gangs over control of this neighborhood. Due to the gang violence, the agent refused to follow Winters inside of the hotel, but he confirms that he is still inside. Well, what are we waiting for? Iger slings her rifle over her shoulder with a single spare motion. Gear up, people. We have a hotel to raid. Gloria and Dietrich pause, exchange looks with Paul. Just a moment, Iger. Amsel rises from his chair, drawing himself to full height. Even so, he has to crane his neck to look her in the eyes. You are an excellent soldier, and nobody questions your competence in the field. Your loyalty to this team is equally commendable. That said, we believe that Talia is the right choice to lead the team. There's a long pause before Iger speaks. When she does, her voice comes out dull and flat. What? Don't mistake this decision for a reprimand. Monica considers your contributions to the team to be invaluable. But we all know that she wasn't comfortable putting a soldier in charge. Iger speaks through clenched teeth. Her words are measured, but her expression is livid. This is unbelievable. You want to put the rookie in charge. Again. She shakes her head. Don't you people learn from your mistakes? Talia is the reason we're still alive, Iger. She kept us together. She kept us out there in one piece, or led us out there in one piece. Making her your #1 girl. She sounds tired, resigned, but above all disappointed. This is more of your flux state idiocy at work, isn't it? Dietrich reaches out, puts his hand on her shoulder. It's what Monica believed in. Iger's voice tightens for a moment, her control slips and her face contorts in grief. Yeah, and look where that got her. She straightens to her full height. Let me give you a piece of advice. In the field, only 2 things matter, the mission and survival. Everything else is a distraction. Your ridiculous politics have no place on a Shadowrun. Dietrich manages a smile. What can I say? We're German. We have a history of strong political views. Ooh. I know what he's referencing. Iger sighs. The tone of resignation returns to her voice. Screw it. Let's put an end to this. I've got the skill and experience to lead this team. Talia, on the other hand, was appointed by Monica as a joke. If you'd rather she take the lead, I'll abide by that. But I want to hear what each of you say. They already have. You just weren't listening. You stay out of this. She stabs an armored finger into your chest. Hard. The moment she raises her hand to you, Dante's ears lay back and he lets out a low growl. Reflexively, she takes a half step back. I think we've heard what Dante has to say. As for my part, Talia saved our lives back there. You may not believe it, but she did. The way I see it, that means I follow her lead. A while longer. Gloria's voice is uncharacteristically gentle. I trust in Monica's judgment. Therefore, I trust in Talia's judgment. The discussion is finished, Iger. Amsel speaks softly, but his tone is firm. Talia will take Monica's place as leader of this team. Let's see. I'll do whatever it takes to keep this team and Monica's legacy alive. That includes taking your advice, Iger. Iger gives you a small nod. That's big of you. She looks from Dietrich to Glory to Amsel, finally down at Dante, then she sighs. I don't agree with this decision, but I will respect it. She nods again, more decisively this time. Talia takes the lead then. Conversation closed. It's time to move on. You need to focus on chasing down Green Winters. Indeed, I have transferred the information that we received from Altug to the computer terminal in the next room. It used to be Monica's personal workstation, Talia. Now it is yours. Monica kept a variety of notes and dossiers on that machine. I would suggest reviewing her notes when you have the time, aka now. Amsel turns his attention away from you and back to his computer screen. Good hunting. I will eagerly await your return. I wouldn't suggest driving to Drogenkip. The roads aren't safe. Taking the U-Bahn would be faster anyway. Thanks for the tip, Iger. The U-Bahn it is. Iger nods, then turns to check her equipment. The rest of the group disperses in turn. You now command a team of Shadowrunners. When traveling to new mission locations, you will be able to choose which members of your team to bring and modify their loadout for the run. You can modify it, but they already have their own gear. Let's see, when members of your team become permanently incapacitated on a mission, they'll be automatically extracted for emergency medical care. They will be patched up and ready for the action the next time you turn to your safe house. Avoid this loss of firepower by always carrying some Bumona trauma kits into the field. These can be purchased from at the Street Docks office in the Kreuz Bazaar. Yeah, already knew that. Now, these triangles that you typically see, those usually indicate secondary objectives. And yes, we probably won't be getting to the mission today. Well, I hope we at least get it started. Your workstation and mission computer, the command center of your team's operations, and your last link to the memory of Monica Schaefer. Her thoughts and words live on in the machine. At times, it's easy to forget that she's gone. Cool blue tones of the workstation's main menu fill the screen. A blinking message in the upper right corner notifies that you have 0 unread messages. Let's check some old messages. Hello, Ace. The screen flickers to life and Monica's face appears. Her hands are on her hips and she's wearing a wry smile. Hey Ace, if you're reading this, it means that I've either died or stepped down. Hopefully the latter, but probably the former. Not many Shadowrunners make it to retirement age. In any case, I'm sure that you'll do a fine job in the role. If you need anything, talk to Paul. He's a good man, and he knows how important it is to me that you take my place. One last thing, Ace. Aiga might cause you some problems. In fact, I think it's a fair bet that she already has. Just remember, she brings something to this team that nobody else does. You'll want her on your side. My advice to you is this. Hold your own with her. If she pushes you, push back. Don't try to butter her up with flattery, she'll see right through it. Good. Most of all, do what you can to earn her respect. She'll never be satisfied by following you if you don't give her a better reason than because Monica said so. I have faith in you, Ace. It's up to you to justify that faith. Chef turns away from the camera, then returns her attention to you. The image is uncannily lifelike. Oh, and by the way, Ace, if you botch this, I'm coming back and haunting your ass. I mean that. The message ends and the image fades. You find yourself back in the inbox. In the jobs directory, you all pending and active jobs. Not too much here. There's a Shadowland BBS. Let's see, welcome to Shadowland. Search for BBS for relevant keywords. Killer in Seattle. Anyone else reading about this? City's got a Lone Star contract and they can't catch the guy. This Emerald City Ripper, this is a reference to the previous game, has been on a spree and so far no one has a clue. Pathetic. If something like that happened on my block, some vigilantes would have tracked him down and stopped him. Shows how good state payroll cops are. Who says it's a he? They don't have any leads. Ha! I'll be in Seattle next week. Forward any info you have about this Ripper, and I'll see about taking him out for a date with my Walther MA-2100. I'm sure Lone Star will have a fat reward waiting for whoever blasts this goon. One more post. Who is Blutz? I think that's the name. I'm still recovering the logs. This hot dogger just trashed my Landtrid hosting server. Sounds like some kid pissed over his cartoons getting cancelled. Left a bunch of garbage files all over my disk and I'll be cleaning them up all day. They should make you pass a dumbass test before you are allowed to deck in this town. Step up your security. Write some white ice programs if you can. At least make the kid's hair stand on it for a few hours next time he tries it. Just make sure that your ice is quick. Heavy-hitting ice is no good if it can't catch up with an intruder. A fact that I take advantage of on a regular basis. Always running. ACW. Like clockwork. If you two are finished, I did have ice on the thing. Tracked the hole down. Grocery store access across the street was piggybacking on my LAN, and they left an unsecured jack point in the bathroom stall. Old as hell maintenance jack in a fuse box, and my security ignored it. Mystery solved. Shadowland isn't your personal tech support board, Lumens. Glad to see you fix your own problem. Only way you're going to learn. And the other thing is we can post pay data for sale. Like that delivery schedule we got. Alright, post remain active for 2 days. Basically, go off, do a mission, come back, and you should get paid for it. And now for the Monica's personnel files. Amsel. The image of Monica appears on your screen. Paul. A talented and well-connected fixer with contacts all over Berlin. She pauses for a moment. He's more to me than that, of course, but that's neither here nor there. Okay. Dietrich. Links on the screen. Dietrich, one of my dearest friends and a shaman of tremendous power. A good man to have at your side in a fight. I tend to use Dietrich in a support role. His magic can dramatically bolster the combat effectiveness out of a frontliner like Aiga or Glory. When the chips are down, he's more than capable of dishing out punishment on his own. Can't think of much else to say about Dietrich. Just a good, reliable guy. She pauses for a moment. When she speaks again, you can hear a hint of guilt in her voice. He is getting a little long in the tooth for a Shadowrunner. Not sure how many more years he has ahead of him in this game. But I'll be happy to run with him as long as he's able. We'll see, I suppose. Glory. Gloria, our damaged enigma. I've known her for almost 5 years now, but I don't think that I'll ever really know her. Somehow I doubt that anyone will. On an operational level, Glory's solid. That chrome of hers may be old, but it gets the job done. I've seen her take a troll apart with her hand razors, and when her adrenaline pump is running, she moves faster than anyone I've ever seen. On top of all that, Glory's a competent field medic. I don't know where she learned medicine, yet another question mark, but she's patched me up at least a dozen times. Between her skill with a medkit and Dietrich's magic, we haven't had much trouble with the serious injuries. In our line of work, that's a luxury. Monica pauses for a moment, then shrugs. That's really all I know about Glory. She keeps to herself, barely talks, and spends most of her time staring at nothing. I've seen this kind of behavior before, of course. Something bad happened in her past. Deep down, I think she's still running from it, and I'm sure that her cyberware ties into it somehow. I don't know. Maybe someday she'll open up to me. I like to think that she will. We'll see, I suppose. Ooh. Iger. Iger. What to say about Iger? She's smart, she's strong, and she's one hell of a soldier. In a close-up fight, I've seen her take apart an entire security team with her shotgun, and she's even more dangerous at range. It's a handy thing, having a trained sniper on the team. All in all, we enjoy one hell of an advantage thanks to her. Unfortunately, there are some disadvantages too. All of that military training has left her, how to say it, rigid, I suppose. Like the others, Iger isn't content to go with the flow. She wants lists and maps and timetables, she wants a hierarchy, and she wants it formalized. I don't think that she realizes it, but giving her what she wants would destroy this team. Gloria and Dietrich wouldn't put up with it for more than a day or two. I know that I wouldn't, but she keeps on pushing all the same. Monica shakes her head. One of these days, this situation is going to come to a head. I just hope that it doesn't happen soon. And, last but not least, myself. The image of Monica smiles on the screen. Talia, my secret weapon. I've read enough with Talia to know that she's trustworthy. Good in a fight, too. But beyond all that, it's just good to see her again. There aren't many people left from the old days. Far too few. Talia, she smiles. She was always the best of them. She takes a deep breath and shakes her head with a sigh. God, that was sappy. Mental note, re-record this before Talia gets a chance to see it. At any rate, if anything happens to me, it's good to know that she'll be on hand to fill my shoes. It's not what Iger would want, but it's what would be best for the team. And that's pretty much it. Should have enough time to, at the very least, get to the mission. And that's where we can go to equip and stash things, but really, we can do that before heading off to a mission. And for the most part, in order to get there, you have to get to the U-Bahn station platform. U-Bahn platform. Would you like to travel? Assemble the team and travel to Das Kesselhaus Hotel to search for Green Winters. Yeah, normally you'd get a screen, or maybe it just hasn't loaded in yet. Yeah, normally you get a screen where you pick your team members, but the teams are typically of 4 people, and, well, we only have 4. Das Kesselhaus Hotel and Nightclub. Crown jewel of Drogenkip, the filthiest Kies in Berlin. Opening the door to the ground level dance club is like bashing your head into a wall of sound. Flashing lights stab your eyes, and the air is perfumed with cheap synthanol and engine grease. Everything in here is cranked up to 11, a playground for the numb. Green Winters is somewhere in this building. You steel yourself for the sensory assault and step inside. The team makes a quick check of their weapons and follow you into Das Kesselhaus. Ah, here we are. We can pick out equipment and consumables here, but we don't really have anything in stash to work with. Well, besides my armor, but that's not going to help anyone. You can't actually change people's outfits. Das Kesselhaus Club and Hotel. Last known location of Monica's client, Green Winters. Let's talk to the bouncer. Patrol working the door might be the shortest you've ever seen, and the thickest. Despite the pounding music and the writhing bodies, his face is buried in a comic book. He looks up and gives you a cursory once-over and sighs. Welcome to Das Kesselhaus, now under new management. Again. There's no cover, just go on in and get your fix. That's Chrono over by the bar over there, he'll take care of you. He bears his nose back into his comic book while tapping a meaty thumb on the black plastic slung from his belt, a high-powered stun gun. Just play nice so you'll meet Herr Zapp. Have fun. I'm looking for someone. Maybe you know him? He keeps his nose in his comic book. I doubt it. This place is filled with interesting people just dying to meet you, so go meet them. Think any of these interesting people might know him? Troll sighs. I have no idea. Frank's watching the floor tonight. Ask him. Just don't expect an answer. Alright, here we are. We need to, find Herr Winter. But there are some people here that we, well, should talk to in order to take care of some things. But, unfortunately, we are out of time for this episode. I know. Spent 2 episodes just talking and all that. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. Talking to people is kind of important in this game. But thankfully, we'll be getting into the mission and getting into potentially some action, hopefully soon enough. But with that, I'll have to end it off here for today. If you guys like what you see, please leave a like, subscribe for future content. Don't forget to hit that bell icon to get notifications on when I upload, or to hit the straw poll link to vote for our next Let's Play. And please, leave a comment down below this video. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching.